Welcome to Momentum Monday. Today is September 13th, 2020. How is the air quality, Howard, down in Coronado?
Pretty weird. I've never seen it like that. I mean, obviously it's covering hazy. What are you saying? It's definitely a smoke.
It's weird. Hazy. Look at the weather app. It says 140 for San Diego, which is, it's unhealthy kind of.
Here's the color of the sky. See, Tom, my partner Tom sent me we both went to ASU. He sent me ASU shoes. Pretty excited to wear them. Oh. That's basically the color of the sun. So, yeah, I went to Arizona State, people. So I was on a call with an allocator this week, and he was a U of A fan. So I wore those to the meeting to upset him. Now, probably not a great way to raise money, but I still did it.
Yeah, that's one way to approach it, yeah.
I just can't get a rise out of you. The whole point of video is to get the experience of Ivan.
And Howard, right?
You are smiling.
Let's talk about the market, Howard.
You're getting a little action, I can tell. You're getting a little COVID action.
What are you talking about? The market is getting a little COVID action since last week. AstraZeneca said
that the puppy got snipped so early. She doesn't even know from sex. She just knows from licking. So sad.
Yeah.
Reloaded Lindsay.
Hello. Well, she's probably really sad after that sell-off in Chewy last week.
Lindsay, Chewy was down, but she
cannot retire right now, Howard.
Oh, she heard Chewy's down, and she just dribbled a little on me. She just
down a lot. She'll need, an extra shift to retire.
Oh my goodness! You know what? At $40, I'm trading that.
So, last week, definitely that.
Okay, so that's kind of the tail of the tape here, right? I remember we're getting pulled back to the 50-day.
Pullback in many momentum stocks.
Hang on, she has a call. No, hello.
At the same time, earlier in the week when AstraZeneca said that they need to temporarily stop their trial for their Oxford vaccine because a single case that really went bad. They didn't really give too many details. But it was funny that the very next day after they announced it, I think they announced it like Tuesday evening or something.
I wasn't following the story, Ivan.
And then the next day, the market kind of gapped up and rallied here on Wednesday. Remember that? So we started the week with that sell-off to the 50-day. So the indices tested their 50-day. And then on Tuesday afternoon, AstraZeneca said, we need to stop the trial of our vaccine because of a single case with really bad side effects. And the futures just went from red to green. The next day, they had one of the best day in a while, the stocks, which only comes to show that maybe the market, likes it the way it is, because not having a vaccine earlier means more stimulus.
That's interesting.
So it was very, very, definitely very interesting. And then, when the Congress couldn't pass the new stimulus bill, we saw that sell-off on Thursday. So overall, last week, we saw definitely a lot of momentum stocks under pressure, stocks that we typically talk about every week, Overstock. You see how they broke down, they rallied to their declining 20-day where they found resistance. This is very typical for quite a few stocks, even for the indices.
What was that doing at 125? I mean, geez, what were some of these stocks doing? People, we talked about it, Ivan. That was a hell of a run for some people. And congratulations, but this is back to reality for a few stocks. So Wayfair, great company, obviously. Totally missed this. But what were people chasing this thing at a 12-bagger out of a pandemic? So that's going to be, there's some resistance now. Now you're going to you got declining 20s and rolling over 50s. It's going to be choppier. I mean, I don't know what could drive this market. You got low interest rates and you got the money printing, you're right. And we're every day we're closer to therapies and vaccines. So I get all that. I think you got some thumping. I look at Google and I go, that is, I'll look at Google and just say, that is our problem. It's, you got you can see how, like, this rally, you got to be careful. I'm still bullish, Ivan. So let me just frame it with that. I'm still bullish, but I look through my top 10 positions and we'll go through them one at a time after. And they all have some thumping reversals from all-time highs. And they're not just like a 2-day, 3-day pullback. Now they've pulled back. Some of them are even breaking down below their 50 days. And, but just, I still think it's a pause that refreshes and I'll talk about the rotation that's going on. But for my type of stocks, I think I'm glad I was selling on the way up, put it that way. All right. So what else? So I can't imagine what takes us higher. We got 2 months of just screaming. I'm looking at Joe Biden's stream and Trump's stream, and it's just screaming. It's just misinformation, on everybody. It's just finger pointing and blaming. And
if you study the tape just before
the tape looks a little bit positive refreshes. Ivan, what are you saying? I don't see any super damage. I just see like there's some serious overhead now.
Yeah, well, if you study the tape in just the month just before the election, in the previous before the previous elections, you see that the market is kind of gets choppier, weaker just before the elections, and typically after that it rallies most of the time. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see something similar, because new elections, a little bit more uncertainty than usual. So it's kind of normal to see more choppiness. So a lot of momentum stocks seems like they might be topping out, kind of, or at the very best case scenario, they've entered a big range.
Yes, I think hopefully we're in a big range. You look at Twilio, Shopify, you look at
so definitely weakness.
Even Spotify, my biggest
software in tech, exactly. And I mean, the leaders are under pressure right now. Momentum leaders are under pressure. I assume that many of them are just biding time, and they'll just build new bases, but it will be really choppy while they're doing that.
Yes.
So they're not going to be the perfect trading vehicle that they were over in the past 6 months.
Yeah, look at Tencent, same thing. I'm going through all my top 10s here, and that looks a little stronger considering. But I mean, I'm comfortable looking.
Looking a little bit better than the rest.
No, but we've had a good run. Here's what's interesting. Yeah, Alibaba had a great run in sideways. Now, if I look at Nike and McDonald's, which are two of my 8 to 80 companies that have kind of been lagging, they're breaking out.
Yeah, exactly.
So the money's not coming out of the market. So look at McDonald's with that Travis Scott. This is creep back into my top 10 positions, just because it's come back so much from March, and I was almost ready to give up on it. And it's lagged Chipotle's and Domino's, but where's
definitely a rotational correction. That the money is really not leaving the market.
And I don't have enough time to time rotations, but I was listening to JC, and he's showing materials and industrials breaking out.
I mean, some of them are holding a little bit better. They're not really any significant breakouts, Howard.
Okay.
What is true is that on Friday, the 30-year fixed mortgage rate hits new all-time lows. 2.86. It's never been lower, and home builders are definitely showing really good relative strength. And many of them, if you look at the longer time frame, are kind of setting up for potential breakouts. Look at this. This is
Phoenix. I know Steve. Steve lives about 5 houses away from me here in Coronado. Spends the summers here. It's a Phoenix Scottsdale company.
A lot of home builders are looking good. And this is definitely one of the sector that has the potential to lead. And if you remember, in the mid.
What's the valuation of Meritage? Of 374 million?
3.7 billion, yes.
3.7 billion. Okay.
But look at this huge base that they built. So if they break out, we could see a significant, and it's not only them, there are quite a few others that are kind of setting up. What was the other one there?
And take a look at Zillow, which is interesting. That's my proxy. It's in my top 10 positions again. I don't know how you stop that. That's my preferred play on low interest rates still is Zillow. People are moving and this is like, they make money either way. And you can see that IPOB rumors are, or that Open Door is going to get bought. This is another SPAC. So the rumors are Open Door, which is a competitor at some level to Zillow on the buy-sell side, which is kind of the weakest part of the business, which is why Zillow got punished in March. But I think if we pull up Zillow, which is now a top 10 position of mine, I've been trimming it, but
incredibly strong, yes.
Incredibly strong. And look at it, it's got a 20 billion market. This is a $50 billion brand. That's a $50 billion brand. So, I don't mind seeing a 20% pullback here on the way to 50 billion, but that's the way I see it. Same with Shopify. I mean, if I'm going through my list, I see this $100 billion rare brand. So if it drops to 30 billion, it doesn't bother me. Oh, I didn't mean Shopify, I meant Spotify.
Shopify is already one thing, yeah.
Yeah, I think Spotify is still my favorite non-$100 billion brand. So if it drops to 35 billion, that's where I'll add some more. So you've got to know your field position. But I'm not going to trim any more of my positions. I was trimming on the way up, and I actually started buying a little Spotify at the end of the week. The other great one is fitness. Peloton is basically, I've been talking about this, Ivan, as being kind of a Tesla-like story. Had a reversal on earnings, but what a great triple off the March lows. Yeah. Almost a 5-bagger.
Do you know what I remember about Peloton? That I was positive about it right here, and you were not.
And I wasn't?
Right here, yeah. You were very skeptical right here, under 30.
And then I got bullish above 30, Ivan. So I wrote it on my blog. So enough people, including you, like if you go look on June 6th, I wrote about it and got long, added it to my Fashology index. And, I trimmed it too early. It's not a top 10 position of mine, like top 10 holding, but I'm just going to look through my rest of my top 10. Zoom seems to just never stop. MasterCard seems to never stop. Not as boring. A little more boring these days. I'm trying to see what else is in my. Amazon looks really strong.
Breaking below the 50.
Yeah. Oh, Amazon's breaking below the 50? Yeah, I mean, what a run. Yeah, so, I mean, listen, would I be shocked if these fell 30%? No. You'd still be in an uptrend. I mean, you'd have a lot of resistance, but if Amazon fell 30%, it would still be the 200 days still in a strong uptrend.
Interesting. So, the snapshot is kind of showing relative strength lately.
Snap and Pinterest, Ivan, and I think it's because China said TikTok, they'd rather shut it down than sell it to an American company. So I think that's playing out in Pinterest and Snap, which are the most, Pinterest probably looks technically the strongest. I just can't get into the product, so it doesn't interest me. So there you go. I mean, I'm not going to switch out of tech because that's where the growth is. I'm just going to be more careful of my entries and where you, and the biotech, Ivan, I mean, I think if you can pick the winners, it's still
biotech is a sector of stocks. Obviously, it's been a little bit weaker in the past 2 months, but with that acquisition, that's I think.
IMMU is getting bought out at a double after it's already.
Exactly. So it'll probably spark some interest. So definitely some interesting setups in the biotech there. If you
a lot of friends that got just beat up in that stock, really called it early, and then it just they got shaken out of this thing in the low teens, and now it's quadrupled, and now it's getting taken out for a double. So it's an 8-bagger off the April lows. So it's been, that was a historic bottom, obviously, in hindsight. The question is, where are we in, if that was a historic type of 2008 panic and we switch into digital, you should look at all these, bear markets are so rare. Everybody's just leaning, we had a bear market. It played out in a month. It played out in a 90 VIX. It played out, still playing out in hotels, in land-based stocks. So I mean, this doesn't seem that scary to me in terms of the market. The country, who knows, but the market doesn't seem that scary. Where's your gut here?
Well, overall, I'm bullish, but it's a market of stocks. I still think that right now I'm starting to see more and more good short opportunities. For example, on Friday, we shorted DocuSign. We bought some put options as it was breaking down, and there are quite a few of the momentum leaders that are either breaking down or setting up for a breakdown. So they're good short opportunities. But at the same time, money is not leaving the markets.
Yes.
We see breakouts on Friday. All the shoe stocks were incredibly strong. Like we saw a breakout in Crocs.
Okay.
Sure. We saw stocks like Under Armour waking up and trying to break out, even though it's a dog for sure, but that doesn't mean that it cannot turn 20%. Now that football season is back. So the money is definitely rotating into other places. It's not really leaving the market. So
yeah, look at FedEx. Money came out of Amazon. FedEx and UPS are just, I'm kicking myself. This was an 8 to 80 brand forever. I kicked it out, before the crash, but I should have probably just been looking back at that brand. UPS is all-time highs. FedEx is nearing all-time highs. So based on like the transportation and the rotation, just like you, Ivan, I'm bullish, but like hearing you on the swing side, still like taking some shots short tech. I'm gonna be very careful about buying it right here, and just give it some time. Give this market some time. I'd like to see Google start to trade a little better, and that would give me a little more. It isn't. So anyways, I think there's been some warning shots. Tesla, same thing. I mean, you can't talk about the market and not look at, okay, there's Facebook. Just seems like a healthy pullback. If we look at Tesla, still just a healthy pullback.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, very orderly considering the rise. It's just doing its thing. The computers are coming in there at the the traders are coming in there where they should. Oh. And, we'll know a little more next week. All right. Yeah. Have a great week, unless I missed something.
Yeah, I think that's all, Howard. You too.
All right. Have a great week.